welcome back to StarrSoaps channel. How are you today? Good, I hope. I'm doing pretty good. Today I am making a little bit of a different project. No soap, nothing for the bathroom at all. I know, weird, huh? Instead, I'm going to be making a little crafty project for you that was inspired by another YouTuber that goes by the name of Threadbanger. Very cool videos, and it was a man versus pin. It was hilarious, and when I saw the original pin photograph, which I'll include now, that they had shared, it made me really inspired and I wanted to go ahead and try it myself. So I dug out all of the supplies and I made some, and I put some photos up on my Facebook page, and you guys were like, wow, show us, how did you do that? So I'm here today to show you exactly how I made them. Now everything here that I do is exactly how Man vs Pin does it on Threadbanger, so shout outs to them and thank you so much for the inspiration for this project. And here's a shot of the things you will need. So let's go and make these little nail polish flowers. Squee! One additional thing you might need for this project is something to attach your final flowers to. I'm going to use this cane woven heart that my daughter gave me for Mother's Day, and I'll attach my final flowers to it. So here's some of the pre-prepared flowers that will go onto the final heart. I made them in a whole bunch of different colours. We've got some sort of salmon pink, and there's a nice blood red with a little green leaf. And I also made some in gold and in blue and also in purple. Very nice. So let's get started. Here's what you'll need for this project: nail polish, glue, some pliers, some wire and a paintbrush. For my wire I'm using fuse wire. It's a very old thing of fuse wire, and I chose the second grade here in thickness for making mine. So here's my pliers that I will use, and I will take a section of my wire that is roughly 1/2 meter long and give it a good wipe down with those tissues you can see because it's a bit rusty, and clip it off. Here we go. And now it's time for us to shape our flower. So I'll take it and I'll use the end of my pliers and I'll wrap it around however many petals I want. So I'm going for 5 because I think the 5 petals looks nice. And I just pull it all off the pliers, and you've got like a little coil, and that's what it should look like. Now I'm going to fold the coil down flat and start to separate out the petals. This is tricky and it does take a bit of practice. Some of them come out looking perfect and some of them come out looking not so perfect. But in life, real flowers out there in the world are not all perfectly uniform. So if your flowers do look a little bit funky and different from each other, then I think that kind of adds something to them, makes them more unique. So here you can see me just separating out the petals, and then I take that little piece of wire that's poking out at the end, and that gets folded underneath and around to secure the flower in place. Be careful when you do this because that little bit of wire can be sharp and you don't want to stab yourself. So just wrapping it around all the way to secure it. And the final step is just to separate those petals out from each other so that they stand alone. If they are touching each other or overlapping, it makes it very difficult to do the next step. So try to separate them from each other, and you can even see how I'm twisting the petal there just to give it a bit more definition and shape and make it how you want it to look. Maybe pointed at the end, maybe rounded, smaller, larger, it's entirely up to you. And there we have it, one little wire flower. So I put that to one side and I'll carry on making some more. I think I'm just going to make 4 for this. So here's my second one, and here's my third one, And finally, for my fourth one, I decided to get a little bit fancy and add a leaf onto the stem. So I'm just twisting that round first into what I think is a nice sort of a leaf shape, then straightening the stem out as much as I can, and carrying on with the rest of the process as seen before to make the flower. This flower came out looking a little bit funky, but that's alright. Okay. Now it's time to move on to the next step, which is the glue. In the original pin, there was nothing said about glue, and it seemed that nail polish was all that went into the flower, but I think the glue definitely helps, and my glue's a bit thinner, so I'm using a paintbrush to apply it. I just found that it made it easier. I think you could use PVA glue or school glue, any kind of sort of standard paper glue. So here I am moving the glue around and along the petal, around all edges of the petal, and then across the middle so it suspends within the petal like so. It's tricky to do and it takes a little bit of practice. It's good if you get a fresh little glob of glue on your brush each time, and just sort of being patient, making sure again that those little petals are not touching each other, those wire petals, and going across the entire petal until the glue is suspended. And I also found that in between petals it helped if I just blew on them a little bit to let them sort of start drying, and that would help them. Also just kind of moving it around so that the glue didn't pool on one side and hopefully dried evenly across the entire petal. And there we have the final flower. So I just spun it around for a bit and blew on it until I felt that it was set enough, put it aside and carried on doing the rest of the flowers. I sped this process up for you and showed you the entire process from start to finish so that you could see every time that the little bubbles burst and I had to try again, so you could just sort of get a feel for how sort of annoying and nifty it is to do. Like I say, once you get the hang of it, it gets easier, and don't be stingy with the glue like I am here. Make sure you use a good amount of glue on your brush. And then we have the second flower, and just carrying on like that with all the flowers until they're all completely done and all of the petals are filled. And of course, if you've done leaves on the stem, make sure you fill them too. So I left them overnight to dry, and this is how they look. Got a really groovy sort of a stained glass look to them, which I like, and you could probably just leave them like this if you wanted. You probably don't even need to paint them, but we're going to go ahead and paint them with some pretty nail polish, because hey, that was like the whole inspiration, was how they looked with the pretty nail polish. I'm just trying to demonstrate to you here how see-through they are. So I picked some groovy colours. I got some red and some green and blue and some purple sparklies. And I'm going to go ahead and paint the flowers. This first one I think I'm going to choose purple because the clustered look reminds me of like a lavender flower. So I went for purple on it. You don't want to put the nail polish on too thick, but you also don't want it on too thin. Very much like painting your own nails. So if you've painted your nails before, then you should be able to do this without too much trouble. And just painting all the way around, spreading the nail polish out, and leaving it to dry. Oh, so pretty and sparkly! For this next one, I thought it looked a little bit more like a daisy or a marigold, so I decided to go for a yellowy gold colour. Very nice. So sunny. And then my red one. Now that one looks pretty. And finally, I decided to do blue for my last one, which this is a strange little nail polish. It has a really thin brush, so I struggled a little bit with it. You have to sort of spread the globs out, and I did have a bit of a hard time with that one, but look how cool it looks. So it was worth it. So while we're waiting for them to dry, let's touch up our nails. Gorgeous! Right, here we are about an hour later, and I'm just doing the green petal, should I say leaf, not petal. And I'm also going to paint the stems of the flowers green. This is something that was not actually part of the original pin, but just sort of my own idea. I had this cool green nail polish, so I thought just to give it that little bit of an extra touch, I would go ahead and paint the entire stem green. Or should I say just the top portion, not the entire stem. So here's how they look once they've got their stems painted and the little leaf is painted. Beautiful. Now, I really loved how the sparkly one came out over these ones that weren't really sparkly. I thought that the glitter looked really wonderful, and I wanted all the flowers to look the same. So I went and I got a clear but sparkly nail polish that I had, and I painted the matte colours with a bit of sparkly polish just to give them a bit more shimmer. And look at the groovy difference that makes. And there's the red one with the shimmer on it. Okay, so our final step is to take our prepared and dried flowers and attach them to something. As you saw in the beginning, I'm going to use this little heart and try to make a wee flower heart-shaped pomander or kissing ball, because my daughter gave me this gorgeous little thing for Mother's Day, so I can make it really bling bling. But if you don't have anything like this, you could use a headband. You could even get some of those earring hooks and hook a couple on them and make some funky dangly flower earrings. Or you could just take round polystyrene balls that you can find at the craft store and just poke them in all around one of those, and that would give you the more traditional round shape pomander or kissing ball. Now I'm having a bit of trouble with this one because of the leaf, so I'm just using a skewer to help me to sort of secure it on. And I think it helps in between to just give it all a good shake as well, just to make sure that they're attached and they're not going to fall off. You want to really attach them on there good. So now I'm just going around and finishing up, putting all the flowers on and trying to alternate the colours around the heart. So, you know, we've got them all spread out. They were all made at different lengths because I was playing around, so some have longer stems and some have shorter stems. I think in hindsight the ones with the longer stems were easier to work with and much easier to attach to something, so I would recommend leaving yourself a good bit of stem to work with. Now that I've got them on, I'm just going around and making sure they're really firmly secured into the heart shape. Give it a little shake and they all stayed on, so we're done! And this is how the final heart looks. Move some things out the way so you can get a good look of it. Ah, so pretty. Quick zoom in. And there we have it. Well, thank you so much for watching me make these little nail polish flowers. I had a lot of fun with this project and I love what I got at the end. If you did enjoy this video and you'd like to see more videos like this, feel free to hang around, become a member of the StarrSoaps family by hitting that subscribe button below and feel the love. And if you want to chat and connect with other members of the StarrSoap family, head on over to Facebook and join our Facebook group, StarrSoaps Family. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Big shout outs to Threadbanger for introducing me to this initial pin. And here are some photographs of my flowers and of the final pomander hanging on the wall in my room. Ah, bye now.
Feel like StarrSoap if you need love in the driest area. Remember the soap that can make you merrier. StarrSoaps, Starr. You won't find another soap that makes your body